What is going on, guys? Brandon here. Tuesday, April 18th, 2023. We have your big three, your trifecta going on. We're going to get in to see what exactly is going on underneath the hood and what we need to be looking at. So let's dive right into this. The United States 10-year is sub 3.6 right now. Liquidity leaving bonds, rates going up, they're inverse. So we always, again, the 10-year treasury is the benchmark yield for the entire world. And it is the dog that wags the tail. So we have to see what the 10-year is doing. The credit market is the biggest market in the world. So we have to understand what's going on there because nothing else makes sense. The stock market, you go to CNBC and all these garbage sites and, oh, we're going to look at the Dow and the NASDAQ. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. Those are all derived from the credit markets. That is where we need to be looking. That's why we do this every single day, spend a few minutes just seeing exactly what's going on so we can understand how to adjust our portfolios and see what's going on in the macro landscape. The DXY is the second part of that trifecta, and it's sub 102. So again, we see the dollar strengthening just a little bit because we have bond yields moving up. So people leaving bonds and generally probably going into cash, but we also see which you're going to see in a second, Bitcoin, gold, silver, bumping up a little bit as well. So you're seeing bonds being sold off a little bit and people moving into some of these other assets. So whether it be cash or maybe some of these liquidity instruments. So the other end, the last third of the trifecta here is crude oil, $81 a barrel, sub $81 a barrel. And again, you've seen this year-long downtrend overall, and it's starting to break out a little bit. We see this pattern here really starting to break out actually over the last month or so. So this is going to be something to watch as to where this is going forward. And is oil rolling over? Is it going to come back down? Because again, we see here that we have, and I believe it was over on the bond side, you have a number of people, Richmond Fed President Thomas Barkin was among the latest policymakers to warn that more evidence is needed for the U.S. inflation to come down to 2%, or because of inflation, more is needed to be done to get down to the 2% mark. So again, the market's fearing, hey, there's going to be more rate hiking here, and this is going to continue happening. Christopher Waller as well echoed a similar statement, similar sentiment, leaning toward further policy tightening amid still high inflation. So again, we have to take that into consideration. There's probably going to be some interesting things going forward. I've been preparing for this for years. This is why our portfolio allocation letter, the link in the description below here in our blog, and also you can go back a few days on the videos to see here on YouTube where we allocate our resources in our truly diversified portfolio, and not just like, oh, I've got a bunch of ETFs and a bunch of different sectors. No, that's one asset class. That's paper. You have to be in different asset classes to actually buoy yourself in actually have portfolio management, risk management. This is why we 15x our portfolio over the last 10 years, because we are outside the system. We're outside the normal, formal education, the normal financial advisor route. We are in a true diversified portfolio. That's why we are able to buoy the craziness, the chaos, and really take off in the good times as well, and buoy ourselves in the down times like last year. So that's something you can go look at if you want. Let me know what you think about it. If you put in the comments here what your thoughts are on that. And please share this. Please share this in general, because algorithm hates truth. And anytime you hear truth, signal in the noise, please share it out. It's the only way, the fastest way to get to truth and a better standard of living and lower cost for all people across the earth. The more we can get truth out and break through the mainstream, the Jim Cramers of the world, the CNBCs, the CNNs, the Fox News, the MSNBCs, all these garbage platforms, Bloomberg, that are just there to make a buck, make a fiat cuck buck off you. That's it. That is it. That's what they're there to do, is to make some cuck bucks off of you. When we use the real money, we use Bitcoin, we save in money for all people, money for all, money for your friends, money for your enemies. What a beautiful world. If you're actually for diversity, equity, inclusion, if you're actually for fairness and justice and equality, then you are a Bitcoiner. You just might not know it yet. So those are the big three, the trifecta there. Now we have the global liquidity indicators. We have gold up above $2,000 an ounce, silver over $25 an ounce, and we have Bitcoin up over $30,000 a Bitcoin. This is actually 3,500 Satoshis per Bitcoin, per dollar. So one grimy George Washington, they got to put George Washington on, and they got to put "In God We Trust" on this piece of paper to get you to trust their lie. The liability they told you is an asset. You're actually losing value over time, so it's actually a liability on your balance sheet. It's a debt instrument. But yet they put these little fancy things on there to get the American people, hoodwink the American people, lie to you, and get you to trust their lie. They're blaspheming, and then great. Now you're in their network. Now you're in the system. Now they can control you, when all you have to do is get off the sinking fiat Titanic and get into the Bitcoin life raft. That's it. Now you have the hardest money ever known to humans, harder than gold, harder than fiat, obviously harder than gold and silver. It is Bitcoin. It's the hardest network in the future of prosperity we will have, in the abundance of energy and livelihood and standard of living and the low, cheap, and almost free cost of dang near everything. Making money almost irrelevant in 10, 20, 50 years. That's, again, my prediction here. That's the world we have. And the faster we go to that, the more we promote alternative narratives and truth, signal within the noise, the faster we get there. In a system right now, we have in a fiat system, you can't bank the unbanked. You can't bank the underbanked. People are just completely railroaded from the system left and right. But in Bitcoin, anyone with the internet connection, anyone in the world can get on, or a ham radio or a mesh network can get on the Bitcoin standard. Think about that. It's auditable, predictable, unlike the banking system, unlike the central banks. What a lie. What a lie we've been told. And this is there for us now already. So Bitcoin up above $30,000 or 3,500 Satoshis for $1. Get it while you can. People will still trade you 3,500 Satoshis, literally generational wealth 10, 20 years from now. Generational wealth, 3,500 Satoshis. And they're trading it for only one cuck buck, $1, one fake piece of paper. Think about that. Think about that. In saying that, you might ask, Brandon, well, what is Bitcoin doing? Is it running? What's happening with Bitcoin? Let's check out Bitcoin. What is it doing? This predictable monetary supply, auditable. Oh, wow, beautiful. It's running. Unlike the fiat legacy banks, not running, not predictable. Central banks, not going to tell you what interest rates are, have no idea what to do. They have literally zero clue. Janet Yellen, I heard the other day that she was an affirmative action hire. Think about that. If she was in this with us talking right now, she'd have no clue what's going on. Well, she was the old Fed chairman, and she's Secretary of Treasury. Think about that. These are the loon bins running the world. These are the loon bins taking leadership, quote unquote, over everything in your life. Think about that. Absolute insanity. We don't need to stand for this anymore, and we won't. Only 3% gave the rest of America. 97% were not, they were just apathetic, indifferent, didn't care, whatever. 3% gave the other 97% America and gave the rest of the world America. Think about that. We don't need many. We just need few. We need 10 million people. 10 million people who see the light, who see the truth, and who see through the fog. Henry Ford said, we need an energy money that will stop wars. That's it. That's it. And I believe it was Keynes or Ford, said if people knew the monetary system and how they were slighted, they would be a revolution in the morning. That is what we're dealing with. So I appreciate you coming to my TED Talk. I really, really do. Let's check a couple of these things really quick before we go to see what exactly is going on. Because maybe the debt's going the other way. Oh, nope, it's going up. Debt's going up because we keep being enslaved because the Federal Reserve, other central banks keep indebting us and enslaving us by buying our bonds up and enslaving us even more in the future. And the interest on our debt we can't service. This is $500 billion a year. That'll be $1 trillion, trillion and a half soon. So you choose. You choose what system you want to be in. And let's see the dollar. You might ask, well, what about this dollar Bitcoin thing? What's going on there? Well, here's the last 5 years. The dollar being absolutely taken to pound town by Bitcoin. Absolutely destroyed. So if you're saving in dollars, you've been getting destroyed. But if you're saving in the hardest money to ever exist, which the hardest money will win out, just like technology, just like Paul Krugman, the Nobel Peace Prize, laughably winner, saying that internet was just a fad. It just will be no more than a fax machine. But he's the same guy as well, saying now Bitcoin's a fad. There's as much credence you can take in someone always being right as just as someone always being wrong. So it's people always being wrong, like Nancy Pelosi or Mitch McConnell's or Paul Krugman's or Peter Schiff's, like these people always that are wrong, you can, like clockwork, say, oh, you said that? Great, we're now going to go exactly the other way because we know you're always wrong. That's the beautiful thing, right? Contrast. Contrast is a beautiful thing in life. So I appreciate you coming to this TED Talk. Please share it. Please share it because the algorithm hates truth. This is not financial advice. It's freedom advice. And question everything with boldness, even the existence of God himself. For if there is a God, surely he'd appreciate that over blindfolded fear. I thank you and look forward to seeing you on the next one.